Good morning. This is Pastor Jason of Kona Faith Center with a word for today, and the word for today is contentment. Contentment with godliness is great gain. Be content with what the Lord brings to me. This is easy to say, it's a whole other thing to do. Be content in all things. I think the key to contentment is trust in the Lord. If I trust God, believe God, know who God is, then I know that He will always come through for me, that I will never lack any good thing, that any trial or testing that I endure and pass the test, of course, is going to lead me to strength and peace. Now, the word peace, as it's used in the Bible, contains basically all the promises of God. It contains all the patience, all the endurance, all the perseverance necessary to receive the manifestation of His promise. Now, if I know that God cannot lie, and He cannot, if I know that God is able, and I know that He is, if I know that God is willing, and I know that He is, if I know that there is nothing impossible to God, and there is nothing impossible to God, if I know that God loves me, He doesn't just love me, He is love, and His attention, His eye is upon me, if I know that the God of all peace, of all health, wisdom, prosperity, protection, wholeness, blessing, if I know that the God of all blessing, glory, wisdom, honor, power, might, and strength has His eye on me, is watching over me, is watching over His word to me to perform it, if I know that He who reveals Himself as the God who will see to it, if I know that He will see to it for me today, then I can be content today. And the key to contentment is to stay focused on Him throughout the day. Isaiah tells us anybody whose mind is stayed on Him will be at perfect peace. That's the key to contentment. Trust God, rely on God, obey God, and contentment with godliness will be the outcome. I think another way to say this would be to be at peace. The Bible tells us to be anxious for nothing, to make our requests known to God, and to allow the peace of God to guard our hearts and our minds. Trust God enough that we will not be concerned about anything. Contentment. So the real battle's in our mind. Keep our mind focused on the Lord and not the circumstances. Keep our mind focused on the things that are true and honorable and just and right and pure and beautiful and respectable and virtuous, things that are praiseworthy, things that are good, and we will be content. And not only will we be content, but we will be content with godliness. So make an effort today to focus on the Lord and to be content with what He brings your way today. The word for today is content. God bless. Check in tomorrow.